What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we are going to look into what it took to do the 2018 Plus conversion on my 2017 Mustang RTR Spec 2. Okay, so first a little bit of backstory on what happened with my vehicle, why I chose to do it. Because I get a lot of people asking me, one, what all did it take to do this? And two, why did I do it? A few years I was working at XL Parts here in Houston, Texas. He's about ready to get really long-winded. The short end of it is the car got hit twice, lost all of its value, and we all know how bad the front bumper on the S550 early model sucks and breaks all the time. Back to me. That's how we got the vehicle to where it is today. But the reason why you are probably watching this video right now is because you want to know what went into getting this vehicle the way that it is. I've gotten so many questions from people saying, you know, I kind of want to do this with the rear. I kind of want to do this with the front. How hard is it? What do I need to do? Is it expensive? So I will say this, if you buy all your parts brand new, this will be an expensive conversion. Almost to the point where I'd say it may not be worth it for you depending on what your budget is for this vehicle. A lot of the stuff I got off of Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. I was able to find it either here in Houston or the Dallas, San Antonio, Austin area. So I did quite a bit of driving to piece this car together, but I love the way that it's turned out. So what do you say we get into right now what you guys are here for, the bread and butter of what all you need to do to convert your 2015 to 17 into a 2018 Plus. So starting at the rear end, because this is going to be the easiest section to convert over because everything is a direct match-up. There is really no need to have to modify anything at the rear. Everything is really good plug and play. We needed a new rear bumper. The bumper that I got has the rear sensors and mine actually did not. So I either need to get the sensors or I need to plug those holes with something. Right now I have nothing in those holes. The bumper mounts in the exact same spot that the 15 to 17 did, using all of the same hardware, using all of the same connectors along the edge of the rear quarters as well as along the bumper edge. Now at the bottom of the bumper, it also mounts up using the same bottom bumper bracket, if you can say that 3 times fast, right there behind your reverse light. So all that's going to be very, very easy to mat up. The other thing that is very, very easy on this is the rear taillights. The body of this vehicle is essentially the exact same vehicle. It's just some of the other stuff has changed. So if you get some 18 plus taillights, those will plug in directly where you need them. The rear reflectors and side reflectors. So the side reflectors are the stock ones that originally came on my 15 to 17 S550. The rear reflectors, I had to purchase those separately. I still need to get one of those. But these, a lot of people will see them on eBay or on Amazon and it says 15 to 21. They are not all the same. I tried to put mine from my 17 onto the 18 bumper. It would not fit. So I did need to get those as my bumper did not come with them. I also needed to get a reverse light for this vehicle. Now the reverse light looks very, very similar. The opening is exactly the same. And again, on eBay or Amazon, it will say that it is a 15 to 21, but those are not going to fit. At the top of your reverse light, the bracket is a little bit shorter. So you need to make sure that you get an 18 plus reverse light. The next thing that you notice on the back of this thing as well is I have the Performance Pack or PP1, PP2 spoiler on my vehicle. This of course did not come equipped on the 15 to 17s as it was a different spoiler from Ford. So I was able to get this off of Facebook Marketplace and I was able to get this. This was probably the most expensive item that I had on the car outside of the front bumper. Because people want these things and they're not easy to find. At least at the time they weren't easy to find for me. This mounts up in the exact same holes as your stock spoiler. So if you had a stock spoiler from Ford, you're gonna reuse all the same holes. There's no drilling or anything needed. I've had several people, including dealerships, ask me about drilling out for this spoiler, but you do not have to. It will mount in the same locations. You won't even be able to tell that this was not the spoiler that came on the vehicle. All down the side of this vehicle, everything is completely the same until you get to the fenders. Finishing up the rear of the car, I needed to get the quad tip 2018 Plus exhaust. I was able to pick this up from one of my Mustang groups on Facebook from a local shop for free. Now, I was able to just weld this in with my stock pipes. The only difference is after the axle. It's basically just an axle back change on this vehicle. These things are where I had to do probably the most modification. but it wasn't really a hard modification. So the fenders mount up in the exact same spot as the 15 to 17 in 3 out of the 4 bolt holes. The only place that it won't is near the front tip or right by the headlights. The fenders that I have on here are off of 2 different cars. One, which I believe is the driver's side, is off of a Mustang GT, and the passenger is off of a Mustang EcoBoost. But the fenders themselves are exactly the same outside of the holes used to mount the fender emblem on the GT. Up front is where I had to do my modification. Like I said, you have a bracket there that holds the front of the fender on the 15 to 17 that's actually shorter than what the bracket is on the 18 plus. So I had to make a small extension that came off of there. Don't try to mount anything up before you have the headlights or hood, because that's gonna be how you align that front corner. The hood is of course different on the 18 to 20 Mustangs. The biggest thing for me was I had trouble lining this thing up, and I did end up having to get some brackets for the hood. The openings for the 18 plus hood are slightly smaller because the bolt studs that are on the hood are smaller. Now, if you have been in the market to get the 18 plus headlights or even a new replacement for one of yours, you know that they come $1,200 each from Ford. So these aren't cheap. Now, you can get $600 for the pair brand new if you shop on eBay. The thing though is I wanted actual Ford parts, because if you look at the corner of these headlights, Ford puts a little pony emblem right about where the ember marker is. So I wanted to make sure that if you look at this thing up close, you believe that this is an 18 plus car. So it took a little bit of searching around. I found some broken ones, and I did have those on the vehicle originally, but I was able to find a good pair that were undamaged for $600 for the pair, and I was able to pick those up. Of course, to be able to mount the headlights, get your hood to latch, or mount your front bumper, you're gonna need to get the new 2018 plus core support. Your stock hood latch will mount to that, as well as your stock hood prop, so you don't have to worry about replacing any of that stuff. But you will need the core support to be able to mount your headlights, bumper, and hood. The front bumper cost me, I want to say $550, and I had to drive to Dallas, which is like a 4-hour drive for me, but it was in great condition. I got it from a body shop. There was no dings, dents, or anything, and it came with the turn signals, which was a big thing because I wanted to make sure that I had everything I needed. I got turn signals, I got all the mounting hardware because it came with the stock chin spoiler, which I needed all that hardware when I converted over for the 18 to 21 Mustang RTR chin splitter. Now, one thing I will say is the turn signals will not be a direct plug and play. You're gonna have to either hardwire those in or find yourself the connector from the wire loom from an 18 plus to be able to do it. My turn signals aren't hooked up just yet, but they will be soon. Underneath the car, I had to get the new belly pan for the vehicle. This was an 18 plus belly pan. The stock one that you have from your 15 to 17 will not fit. I did modify the tray that sits underneath the steering rack from my 15 to 17 to make it fit on here. It just required me to drill, I believe it was 4 holes up underneath there, and everything fit the way that it needed to. Underneath the hood, I did convert over to the 18 plus radiator shroud at the top because your 15 to 17 won't fit on that either. Now, a few things that I would like to point out. The rear does need to be replaced, your crash pad. Now, when you try and mount it up there, this bumper seems like it's a little bit more narrow than what the other one was due to the angles. So you will have to replace that with an 18 plus. Otherwise, your rear bumper isn't going to fit on there the way that you need it to. I personally myself, I didn't put the crash pad back there. I don't really think that I have a need for it. Hopefully I don't get hit too hard back there ever, and I won't really regret that. For this entire build, converting it over, I would say that I'm probably about $5 grand into it. Now, before you grip your chest and think that's a whole lot, the only reason why it's at $5 grand is because of the paint work. I would say probably about $2,500 of that is all in paint. So if you look at all the parts that I got in total to convert it, it only cost me about $2,500 to convert this, which I don't think is a lot for a full body conversion over to a newer style. And really the only way that you can tell that this isn't an 18 plus is if you look inside of the steering wheel. Because on the steering wheels on the 18 plus, the radiator controls and all your other stuff are flip-flop. Now we will be converting over to digital dash, and then that's gonna switch everything, and then you won't be able to tell that this is not an 18 plus. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you got any other questions about what it took to convert this from a 2015-17 over to 2018 plus, make sure to put them down in the comments below and I'll answer all of them. If you guys want to know the whole list of parts that were used on this, I'm going to also hook that up down below with all the part numbers from Ford directly, so you know that you're getting the exact parts that you need. If you're new to the channel, make sure that you go ahead and you hit that subscribe button because you don't want to miss anything that's going to be coming up. Make sure that you go ahead and hit the bell notifications. That way it notifies you right when it's done, so you're first on the list. Thank you guys so much. Again, give this video a big thumbs up, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.